Hi, self-awareness. I am your host, Rose, and this is part 2 of the Ascension. And we spoke about some of the symptoms on part 1, and I told you my 2 books, Ascension 1 and 2, gives you more detail about the whole process and the emotional stuff that we have to heal and face, embrace. And my new book, Why, Part 1, go deeper into the healing the inner child, the one we run from. The pain, the trauma, the disappointment, the hurt, the anger. It's all there. So this is to help you help yourself. This is why I tell my story, all about my abusive marriage, my over 5 suicide attempt, when I got arrested for shoplifting, having children for all the wrong reasons, got married for all the wrong reasons, and how I had to forgive my parents because they did the best they knew at that time. Now, the thing I want you to think about, we have more information and resources so we can learn and expand our consciousness right at your fingertip. But it's up to you to choose. You can stay the victim or you can become victorious. It's up to you. It's how you use these experiences, because we all go through something. And that was part of the plan. That's why I told you, check out Soul Contract. You can Google it or you can watch clips on YouTube explaining the whole process. So now we're going to continue, because part 2 of the Why book, I told you the end of April 2018, it will be out. And I just want to remind people about healing psychosis. I was diagnosed, you should know by now, in 1987, and 2 hospitals said it was incurable. I've been cured for over 25 years now. And most people don't want to think they can heal themselves, because the Creator gave you everything you need. Now, someone called me when they saw one of the shows this week, which was this Tuesday, the 3rd, April the 3rd, 2018, and she was asking about Bernie Mac, because this is him in the book, this magazine. This is Ebony, 2004. And they said he had it. I don't know if that took him out. And at the bottom, there's a football player. They claim he has it. And on this next page, an NBA Hall of Fame, Bill Russell. This is a picture of him and his daughter, they say, have psychosis. And the picture below is a black doctor that they claim he has it. And the article is saying it's incurable. This is why you have to do your own research, and you have to trust that divine spirit within you. That's the Creator talking to you. And we've been so programmed to believe what man is saying because we can see the doctors physically. But the Creator is invisible, but it's right there with you. And it gave you free will. So you can choose to focus on and believe in whatever. It's up to you. And you go back to your Bible, it tells you it's done to you according to your belief. When those doctors told me that disease was incurable, something deep inside of me say, don't accept that word incurable. And I didn't. And it was a process, learning, about 6 years, and it was completely gone. And in an overstand, I was supposed to go through all of the trauma in my life. Because if you know about starseed, light workers, we incarnated here for this reason, to help humanity. So we have to experience things that they experience in order to reach them. We have to be able to relate to them. Why would somebody who wants to commit suicide want to talk to somebody who never did it? Because the first thing they'll say, well, you don't understand how I feel. But I do. Been there, done it. So a lot of my experience, I have no regrets. And when people read my book, they are amazed that I lived through all of this and still feeling loving, inner peace and joy and loving. I want to help anyone who's ready to help themselves. I'm not here to make anybody do anything or to believe anything I'm saying. I'm just the messenger to point you in the right divine direction. That's it. You heard the old saying, you can take a horse to the river, but you can't make him drink. So that's what I'm about. And I want to remind you about the contest that I'm having. And it's to inspire you to watch and study these two videos. Well, films. I Am and Finding Joe, which I felt excellent. Anytime I feel down, depressed, ready to give up, I put on one of these, and it brings my vibration back up to my Christ consciousness. So there's a lot of lessons, and this is all universal. And you watch it, study it, and you can write a 1 or 2 page essay. And first prize is $2,000 worth of outfit, custom made, whatever you choose. And the second prize is $1,000 outfit. Third prize is $500. And if you win, you can use the prize for yourself or anyone you choose to. So check out my Facebook and my website for all the information. But I'm only doing this to inspire people to watch it, because I feel it will help everybody get a clearer and an understanding about the universe, the Creator, ourselves, our power. So think about this, And I just want to read a comment because people all over the world, they email me or they will call me. And the Why book. This is a comment from this young man from Chicago. And he's saying, "Hello, Miss Rose. My mother gave me your book, Why, to read. Mainly the 2-chapter experience about your son that we call Shine, which was deep, a wake-up call for me to take control of my life to make positive changes. I am living a gangster lifestyle now. At the age of 22, he's living a gangster lifestyle. I gained a lot of clarity and starting to understand my true self, experience, lessons. I am taking the first step to get the right divine help. You are honest from your heart. You really care. Love and peace. A. Clark, 22 years old. His mother bought this book and gave it to him because he gave up on himself. When he read the 2 chapters in this book about my son, Shine, and his experience, trials, tribulation, and he's victorious now. So you can accomplish or overcome, work through. I like to say work through because when we say overcome, to me, it's like jumping over something. Working through, you're going through the pain, the fear, the anger, the jealousy. You're feeling it all. You're not in denial. So this is a blessing for me to get. And there's a lot of other quotes in the book, but when you get it, you can read it. A lot of good information. Now, this was my first book. And what really brought tears to my heart. This young man, he said he was from Texas. He called me, asking, "Are you Miss Rose?" So I said, "Yes." And he just started thanking me. So I said, "What are you thanking me for?" He said, "I bought your book, The Book Without a Name." He said, "I read it, and I answered all the questions, but on a separate paper." He said, "Then I gave the book to my mother to read and to answer the question on a separate piece of paper." And he said, afterwards, they got together and they compared each other answers. And he said it was such a healing process that so much he didn't know about his mother and her feelings. And the same thing, she didn't realize certain things, how he felt about it, because we was programmed to go along to get along. So people, most of the time, don't express their true self. So when you don't, that you're really hurting yourself because you're not being true to you. So you can fit in to whoever group or to be what other people want you to be. So, but this was good. And there's a lady, and she's from one of the Caribbean islands. And she found a lot of my clips on YouTube. I'm not going to read the whole comment that she sent me, but it's very, very inspiring. And one thing she said, because she did buy the book, that I'm not a religious person, but I use spiritual scriptures in my book. But my interpretation is different from people who was programmed in false religion. So that's what she loved about it, because she said it gave her more clarity and understanding to help her grow spiritually. And and all of these people from all these different countries, I never met them. I don't even know what they look like. But well, not all, but all my books have some of the comments in it. So this is another thing you can think about. And if you want to question me about the Bible, this is a metaphysic Bible. This Bible gave me a lot of inner and understanding, clarity, what a lot of the scriptures really mean, and the symbolism and the symbolic stories that people take literally because they don't enter and understand the lesson. So this is a metaphysic Bible from Unity, and it's amazing. So, and a lot of the things in the Bible is on point if you know how to interpret it correctly. So that's something you can think about. But we're going to end this talking about the Ascension. And Ascension is really rebirth. You're going through the resurrection. Because in order to have a rebirth, you have to die to the old you. Your false belief, your low self-esteem, all of these negative emotions that we hold on to. That's why the process is so painful, because things going to come up that's going to freak you out. You're going to feel happy. Then one day you're going to feel angry. You want to hurt somebody. It's a lot of emotion up and down, but it's worth the process, because this is how you get back in touch with your true self and your divine created power that was given to you by the Creator, whatever name you want to call the source. I don't get caught up in labels and titles, you know. That's another thing they use to keep you in mind control. And it's what they say. What is the Creator saying to you? And this is why I explain to people, I'm not here for you to believe in me or to worship me or to send me a bunch of money to stroke my ego. And I do appreciate the donations, but this is about love. That's the main thing that's missing on this dimension, which is the third dimension, because we are evolving to the fifth and beyond. And you can do so much research to get a better inner and understanding, clarity, and why certain things is happening, why you are feeling certain things, because I could be here forever to give you this information. It's too much. I on overload. Sometimes I can't even get my thoughts together, and my memory loss is like, what happened? I just was going into the room, but for something, now I can't remember what I went for. So this is why it's important for you to study this stuff because it's happening and more people are starting to wake up and feel the effects of it. And in part 2 of my book, I talk about when I fell, which I was pushed on Fordham Road, and my frontal lobe was out like that. And I did go to the doctor the next day. They was freaked out. They were so surprised I didn't have brain damage. I didn't pass out. In fact, I wasn't even in pain, but I explain it in part 2 of the white book, the whole process. So, stop focusing on these politicians, these celebrities, I don't care who they are, and these negative TV shows and these negative movies that keeps you on a low frequency. You need to listen to positive things that's going to help raise your vibration, positive music, tones, 528 megahertz. That's a love vibration. And do your research. Don't believe anything I'm saying. And stop freaking out with this age thing. I'm closer to 70, and I feel great. And I want you to watch the clip that's going to come on in a second. And the God in me, or the Creator in me, greets the Creator in you. Thank you.
Ascension is the raising of our personal energy frequency. It occurs when we bring our layers of light from our spiritual body or multidimensional God self down into our physical form. As we integrate more of our true spiritual essence into our being, we expand our auric field, chakra system, and activate our dormant strands of DNA. This allows us to move into higher states of consciousness, accessing a new reality or dimension within ourselves. Please understand, when I say higher level of consciousness, I do not mean better. Greater consciousness is more consciousness, and each one of us has the exact same potential to activate and tap into our higher states of consciousness. Greater consciousness means greater connection to our God selves and a deeper understanding of the universe. Ascension and the raising of our vibration is a personal spiritual choice. Each of us has the very same potential to ascend. It is a matter of our own free will choice and the intention to allow ourselves to do so. All souls eventually move into greater states of consciousness. As we raise our vibrations and ascend into higher levels of consciousness, we may experience some discomfort emotionally, mentally, and physically. We are transforming our dense lower vibrating carbon-based cells into higher vibrating crystalline light-filled cells. We are going through an alchemical process of body, mind, and spirit. As we ascend, we transcend karma. Everything that is ready to be released will be brought up for review, bringing about a change in our life experience. Old relationships, activities, jobs, belief systems, place of residence, etc., may no longer serve your highest good. This is a positive experience and will result in tremendous personal growth, even though it may be uncomfortable and chaotic at times. In order to ascend, we must open ourselves up to change and step into a place of surrender and allowance. All discomfort is temporary. Eventually, everyone choosing to ascend into the higher states of consciousness will move into a state of health, harmony, joy, peace, spiritual abundance, full consciousness, and unity consciousness. Emotional discomfort. 1. Loss of identity. Feel like you are losing yourself. Not feeling like you fit in anymore. 2. Dark night of the soul. As the old you dies, death of the ego, and you make room for the birth of the new you, spiritual self, you may experience an increase of chaos in your life. Your old ways just aren't working for you anymore. The sooner you can let go of the old and allow yourself to step into a new way of thinking and being, the smoother your life will move. Depression, grief, sadness, loss of identity, and confusion are very common during the dark night of the soul. 3. Your emotional body may experience upheaval during the cleansing process. 1 week you may experience joy, bliss, and elation, and the next week you may experience anger, fear, and confusion. You may feel like something is wrong with you. This is part of the clearing process, so please do not judge yourself. 4. Sudden extreme sensitivity to loud and crowded environments. While our energy bodies rapidly shift, we will desire more time alone in our sacred space. Our connection to the earth and nature deepens, and we begin to experience the unification and universal flow of all living things. 5. Heightened desire to surround yourself around like-minded people and healthy relationships. You simply cannot tolerate low-vibrational environments or toxic relationships any longer. 6. Irritability and anxiety. Acceleration of time and not feeling like you can accomplish everything that needs to be done. 7. Feelings of despair and overwhelm. Our physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies are integrating higher vibrational energies from our God Self. As we face God, we face ourselves. Things that need to be healed are being brought up to the surface for us to transcend. Previous behaviors and actions or karma are being balanced at an accelerated rate. Our God Self loves us unconditionally, but our misqualified energy must be brought into balance. It cannot be taken with us. Pulsating rhythms of our past are vibrating away and it affects how we feel. 8. Clumsiness, feeling out of sorts. Distracted. 9. Increase in psychic development and awareness. The ability to see beyond the veils may be emotionally disturbing if you are not accustomed to the truth of reality. These are natural abilities that will be returning to all of us who are choosing to awaken and expand our consciousness. Be accepting of this process and do not resist. Work through your fears. We have earned the return of our spiritual gifts, welcome them. It may help you to find a group where you can talk about these experiences without anyone placing judgment on them. Some people have extreme fear of psychic abilities and some feel these abilities should never be discussed and should remain a secret. We are in the midst of planetary ascension. The truth is being revealed and we are returning to our divine inheritance and potential. It is time to share these experiences so we can reduce the trauma, shock, and fear that occurs when people begin to experience the truth of reality. Mental discomfort. 1. Our mind, ego, intellect, will